Hello everyone, this is Suresh from Azure ADB. Today our topic is how to use concat function in PySpark. So that means how to concatenate multiple columns into single column. So this concat function is mainly used to concat multiple columns into a string column. So it merges multiple columns or literals into single output column. If any column is null, the entire result becomes null. So if you see syntax, so we can write concat and inside that we can write number of columns. So how many number of columns we need to concat. So this can be multiple, two or more, multiple number of columns. So these columns can be string. So this can be string or column. So whatever you pass inside concat, so that can be either string or column. So you can concatenate one or more column names or column expressions to concatenate. So after applying concatenate, what you will get written is, you will get a single string column that joins all specified input columns or string expressions without any separator. So we'll see what it meaning this separator. So we'll jump into first scenario. So how to concatenate two string columns? So concatenate columns with or without using a separator. So concatenate does not add spaces automatically. So that means we'll see this one, what it meant. So for this, I created one sample data frame. So this is my data and these are all the columns I have. And if I create by using spark.create a data frame, so this is my data frame. And if you look in this, I have this many columns and I have few null values also in this. Now on top of this data frame, what I'm doing is I'm applying some functions here. So if you see here, yeah. So first I'm importing some required functions. And here, if I expand this one, yeah. So here, source is, so I defined one variable like source and df.employee means, if you see here, df.employee means this is the data frame, df.employee. So on top of data frame, what I'm doing, I'm using with column function. So I'm adding one new column underscore modified. And on top of that, I'm using concat function. So concat of what I'm doing. So here I'm writing concat and inside that I'm writing f late 3 zeros. So here I'm passing one string and here I'm passing one more column, that is call ID. If you see this particular data frame, so first I will try to run this one. So in this, we have this ID column. So for that ID column, I am concatenating one more column. So that is literal value. So, and later I am running these functions. So here I am importing required functions. So here we mainly required concat and lit. So let it run this data frame. I will run this one. See. So here this is ID column. So ID column has these values. And I'm running this function. So here I'm importing concat and lit. And after that, I'm running this function. So here what I'm doing. So I'm concatenating two columns. So we have already ID column here, that ID column, and I'm passing here one lit function. So lit function means this lit, it will apply these three zeros for entire column. So that means if you see here, our first value is 0. Sorry, 1. Our first value is 1 in this ID column. So 1 and these three zeros. So that means first three zeros. And what is the value here? 1. Three zeros, 1. So that we will get output here. See here, three zeros, 1. And if you see here, ID. So next for second ID value, so first three zeros, 2. So three zeros, 2. And next three zeros, 3, this column. And for fourth row, so here I have 4. And first what will happen, these three zeros, and later it will concatenate 4. So three zeros, 4. And so on, it will go like this. Okay, so this is one application. So next scenario is, so here what I'm doing, so here I'm creating one column, so that is full name. So for getting full name, what I'm doing, I'm using concat here, and I'm applying this concat on these two columns. So first column is first name and the second column is last name. So these two columns I am doing concat in first with column. So that means first I'm creating one column that is full name. If you see here, this full name, it is concatenation of these two columns. So Nitin Kumar. So we'll get Nitin Kumar. So Rakesh Rathod. So Rakesh Rathod. Swapna Kumari. So Swapna Kumari. And why we are getting here without space is because we are not defined any delimiter here. So we are just concatenating first column and second column. And here also same thing. So here we are concatenating lit value. So that means three zeros and this ID value 1. So that is the reason three zeros 1. So continuously we are getting. So that means we are not defined any limit delimiter here. Suppose if you want to define delimiter here, you can add one more with column here. You can add one more column here. So what you can write is you can add one more lit in between. So here I will add one more lit here. In lit, what I will do, I will give space. I will give space or underscore I will give. So now what will happen? These three columns, it will get concatenate. So that means first three zeros and in between underscore and after that ID. ID is what? 1. So now it will create one more column modified underscore. So if I run this, see here it will add one more column. So that is three zeros underscore 1. So three zeros underscore 2. So in select also I need to define this column. So now here it will add one more column that is with three zeros underscore 1, next three zeros underscore 2, three zeros underscore 3, and so on. Okay, so very first one is without a delimiter. So second one is with the delimiter. Okay, so next same thing here also. So here concat two columns and in between we are not defined any delimiter. And if you come to this one, see here column name itself I given full name space. So that means between first name and last name, I given space here. So for providing space, I used lit. So now what I will get, full name space. If you see here, Nitin space Kumar. So here Nitin, here Kumar, in between space. So here we don't have space. So same thing here also, Rakesh space Rathod. So here Swapna space Kumari, Pavan space Rao. Okay, so it will generate like this by keeping space. And third condition is, third column is full name, comma. So here what I'm doing, same condition in lit in concat condition, I'm adding separator as comma. So first I'm adding space, then comma, then space. And if you see here, this column name is full name, comma. See here, this one full name, comma. And if you see here, Nitin, so Nitin space, comma, Kumar. So Rakesh, you see here, Rakesh space, comma, Rathod. So now what I will do is, first space I will remove. So I will keep, I will retain space after comma. So if I try to run here, see here after Nitin, immediately comma will come. So call is not defined. So I will run the function. I will run this function. So now I will run one more time. So now what will happen after Nitin? So we don't have space. Immediately we'll get comma. So Nitin, comma, space, Kumar. Similar way, Rakesh, comma, space, Rathod, and so on. So this is full name, comma. And one more way what we can do is full name backlash. So that means my delimiter I'm changing like this. So first I'm giving space, then backlash, then space. Okay, so in between first name and last name, I'm giving space and backlash. See here, Nitin, space, backlash, space, Kumar. So here also Rakesh, space, backlash, space, Rathod, and so on. So here I try to try to create concatenate columns by using different delimiters. So first one is without delimiter. So that's why you can comment as concatenate columns without a separator. And in second one, concatenate columns with a literal separator. So literal separator means by using comma, space, and backspace. So here also same. So these three applicable. So last three applicable to this one. So space, comma, backlash. And this one, first one is concatenate columns without separator. So here I'm not defined any separator. So on top of these three, adding these three columns, I used select. So because once you add this with column, what will happen on top of your this data frame, it will add those three columns. So here I don't want to display all these columns. So that's why I selected whatever columns I required by using select statement on top of this. So here I need only first name, last name, and I don't want remaining columns. See here from this table, I picked only first name, last name. So remaining things I don't want here. Because I want to show comparison, my input is first name and last name, and I added four columns on top of that by using concat function by using different delimiters. So now I'm taking one more example. So here my columns are these columns and this is my data. Here what I'm doing, concatenate multiple columns. So here concat, and so here I given first name, middle name, last name. So that is full name. So here I have how many columns? Total 3 plus 3. So total 6 columns I have. So what I'm doing, I'm passing this data frame here. So df dot first name. So this df dot first name is this one, this column, or you can write like df dot first name, or what you can do is call of middle name. So call of middle name. So both are fine. And here also instead of df, call of last name. So here I mixed. So either you can follow df dot first name, df dot middle name, df dot last name, or otherwise you follow call of first name, call of middle name, call of last name. And after concatenation, I given alias. So alias as full name. Why? Because here I'm using select method. But if you see in previous case, I used with column method. So for with column, so here only I given column name. So in with column case, we no need to pass alias. So only for select case, we need to pass the alias. So for this concatenate, I given alias as full name. Next, what I need to do is on select statement. So one column I created by using concat. So that is full name. So one is full name. So in select statement, first I given concat and I given alias as full name. So in output result, I will get full name as first column. And on top of that, I selected these 3 columns. Okay, so DOB, gender, salary. If you see here, DOB, gender, salary, these 3 columns. So now, if I see the output, here what I'm doing, I'm simply concatenating these 3 columns. So now, if I see here, I will take screenshot, otherwise I will select these things also. So now what I will do now, instead of selecting all manually, I will do select star. So here, hashtag I will give. So hashtag means it will select all the columns, and additionally, it will add this full name column. Okay, so now we'll see how this output is generating. See here, it concatenating 3 columns. So first is first name, Sunita, and middle name is empty space, is that empty string, and last name is Smith. So what you will get? Sunita Smith. So it ignoring this one empty string. And a similar way, if you see here Mahesh Rathod, and this third one is empty space. So it giving you output as Mahesh Rathod. And same thing if you see here Roshan in between space Kumar. So Roshan Kumar will get. And if you see this one, we have 3 names here. All first name, middle name, last name is there. So we'll get all 3 names together here. And a similar way here also. So we have 3 names here. So we'll get 3 names together, but without separator, because I'm not defined any separator in between. So next is concatenate with space. So concat does not add spaces automatically. So here, that is the reason we are not getting any spaces here. And if you see at the definition, um, what somewhere it is mentioned without any separator. See here, if you concat two columns, it becomes single string column that joins all specified input columns or string expressions without any separator. Okay, so concat functionality is that one. So now what we'll do, we'll see one more example. So that is concatenate with space. So we'll see how we can generate with space. So by default, concat does not add automatically space, but still how we can do is that we'll see. So here I'm creating one sample data frame. So this is my data and I have these many columns. And here I'm creating this data frame. So I have these many columns and data here. On top of that, what I'm doing, create surrogate key column using concat and lit. So in real-time projects, so the main usage of concat and concat underscore WS is for creating surrogate key. So that means we have to create one key, surrogate key, so that act as for key column. That means, so whatever here columns we are mentioning, these column values we don't want to display. So instead of that, we are generating this surrogate key. So for generating surrogate key, what I'm doing, df underscore concat. So that means this one, this data frame. On top of that, I'm using select star. So select star means it will select all the columns of data frame. And additionally, I'm generating this column, surrogate underscore key. Since it is select function, we need to define alias here. So otherwise it will take this one name. So my new column name is this one, surrogate underscore key. And if you see here, at the end of the data frame, you will see this particular column. See here, surrogate key, and these are all the values. So we'll see how it generates this value. So here, what are the columns I given? So maximum ID columns I selected. So you can say these are all the primary keys of the data frame. And additionally, I given this particular column, start timestamp. So if you see here, all these ID columns, employee ID, event ID, make ID, version ID, item version ID, okay, and sales ID, vehicle ID, start timestamp. So all these columns I selected here and I adding under concat. So inside concat, what I'm doing, so this is my first column. And for this, I'm adding lit here, lit function. So this lit function, I given this space here, and this act as delimiter here. If you see this piece of code, what it does is call event ID. If you see event ID, what it is there, IPL 001. So after that IPL 001, you will get this line. If you see this output, see here first IPL 001, next line is there. So after that, it will come to this row. Here what is there? Call make ID and lit is this line. If you see make ID, we'll see what is there in that. Make ID is 101. So after IPL 001, see here IPL 001, this line, and 101. So next, what is there? Version ID and lit. If you see version ID, so here 1 is there. So, and if you see here, after 101, line 1. And after that, one more line, that is this list, lit 1. If you see here, call item version ID. Here, item version ID, what is there? 0. So what you will get? IPL 001 101 10. If you see here, IPL 001 101 10, and after that 10. So 10 is what? Maybe sales ID. If you see here, sales ID. Sales ID is 10, vehicle ID is 1001. See here, 10 1001. After that, this timestamp. So in between columns, this line is added. So now this will call as surrogate key. So this mainly will use for key purpose. So confidential purpose. Okay, so this how we can create the columns by using delimiter. So mainly in concat. So next we'll see how to concat string and numeric columns. So in concat, first we need to convert numeric columns into string type. So then only it will concat. Otherwise it will throw error. So here I have one sample data frame, and here I'm creating this data frame, and I have this many columns. So that is ID, product, price, quantity. So in these two string columns, two integer columns. And if you see here, what I'm doing is on top of this data frame, I'm using with column. My new column name is product underscore price. So that is this is the one new column. In new column, what is my transformation is concat. Here I'm using concat function and call product. So call product is this one. So first one is laptop. And after laptop, I am giving lit function semicolon. So semicolon with space. So now this is my delimiter. If you see here output laptop, after that semicolon and space, and after that I have call price. So here this product is the string column. So this laptop is string. So up to here string. But if you come to this price, see this price is integer. Okay, so integer or long type, big integer. So this is 50,000. So since this is integer column, so we cannot concat directly. So for that, what I'm doing, call of price dot cast. So this integer column, I'm converting to string type. So now this product is string, and now this price also string. Since both are string, these two string columns, it is concatenating with this delimiter, semicolon space. So that's why you're getting laptop semicolon space 50,000. And if you come here, mobile semicolon space 20,000. And here tablet semicolon space 30,000. And so on it will go. So next, how to concatenate date or timestamp columns. So date or timestamp must be cached to string. So for this purpose, what I'm doing, here I'm importing date underscore format function here. So df underscore concat, that means on top of this data frame, df underscore concat. So that is, I think, our very first data frame. Yeah, this one. So this is our first data frame. So here what I'm doing, this is first name. I'm taking screenshot. And what I'm doing here on top of this is I'm adding one column. So name with time. So here this is the name with time new column. So that how I'm generating. Here I'm using concat, and inside concat I'm adding three functions here. So first one is lit load date. And if you see in this data frame, we have lit load date. Okay, string I'm passing. Okay, so here lit load date is the string. So that first we are getting this load underscore date. And in between, by using lit, I am using delimiter. So that is space, this vertical line as the delimiter and space. So that means load underscore date, space, vertical line, space, and here I given one more function. So what is this function is, I want to pass this timestamp here. So since I want to pass constant value throughout, so I'm using lit function here. So lit of this timestamp. So that means if I use lit, it will consider as literal value or constant value. So in throughout this column, this constant value will be added. But if I use only lit, I will get same as it is. So that means I don't get like this. So in between T, so like this I don't get. So for that, what I given, first this string of timestamp, I converted to timestamp format. So for that I used to underscore timestamp and I given this format. So 4 that is here. So this format I given 4 2 Ms, 2D and hour, minute, second. So this format I defined. So now what will happen? So this string of timestamp, it will convert to timestamp value. So now this value become timestamp. Now what I'm doing, if I keep only 2 underscore timestamp, I'm not getting this T and Z. I'm getting same as it is value. So for that what I did, date underscore format function I added. So in this, I given this format. So this is my required format I given here. So 4 DD. So in between T I required, and here hour, minute, second, millisecond, and this is my Z. Okay, so I'm getting this one, this value. So that means my first one is a string load underscore date, and in between this is separator, delimiter, and for adding the timestamp, I'm writing this function. Okay, so this how we can write string and timestamp. So next, concatenate multiple columns. So that means more than 2. So more than 2, how we can do is same method, but I took different example. So on top of df underscore concat means this data frame. On top of that, I'm using with column and column name is combined. So here I'm using concat function. So here I'm adding multiple columns here. So what I'm doing, first I'm selecting call first name. So in this column I'm taking first name, and in between I'm adding delimiter. Lit is line. So what I will get, Nitin line. Next, what I will get, I'm concatenating last name. So what is my last name? This one. So what I will get, Nitin line Kumar. Then what I will get? I given one more lead inside that line ID. So finally, what I will get? Nitin, line, Kumar, then line ID. So that I will get here in combined column. If you see here, see Nitin, line, Kumar, line ID. So same way for other also. See every first name and last name, between first name and last name, this line is added. And since I given third lit as this one, line ID, so for all the records, it added dash ID, dash ID. Okay, so this how we can now concat multiple columns. So next, how to handle null values in concat. So as per functionality, concat functionality, if any column is null, concat returns null. So that is the default behavior. So for null purpose, I created one separate data frame. And if you see here, I created few empty strings and nones also. So if I create with this, what I will get? So wherever I given none, it will generate nulls. And wherever I mentioned empty string, I will get empty space. See here, whatever here empty space is there. So those are all empty strings. So that means these things. And wherever I mentioned none, I will get nulls here. See here. So these are all the nones defined in input data set. So now my this data frame has both empty string and nulls. So now on top of this, what I'm doing, I'm adding one column that is full name, and I'm adding concat function here. What is my concat function is, first I'm selecting first name. If you see here, first name is this one, and in between I added delimiter as space. And I'm adding last name. So that means these two columns I'm doing concatenation with space. After doing concatenation, I'm calling only three columns. So first name, last name, see here in select function, first name, last name, and full name. What is this full name? After doing concatenation, that is full name. So that is this one. So this full name I'm calling here. So now what output we'll get here is, we'll see wherever null is there, how it behaves, and wherever empty string is there, how it behaves. So if you take first row, so here both string is there. Nitin, Kumar, both string is there. So what output will get? Nitin space Kumar. See here, Nitin space Kumar, because our delimiter is space. And next, if you come to this one, here both are empty. Both are empty string. So for empty string, so here also it creating empty string. And if you come to here, so one empty string is there, one Kumar is there. So here also it creating, see first one is empty, first character is empty, then Kumar. And here Pavan Rao. So we'll get Pavan space Rao. And next Krishna, here empty string is there. So Krishna, after that empty space will come. And here null Sen is there. So if any one of the record has null, then the result will be null. See here, null. So here null is there, here string is there, but still it will give you null. So Krishna space Shetty. So here one null is there, here string is there, you will get output as null. So Sundar space Das. Sundar space Das. Here we have both nulls, so you will get null value. So like this, it will work when you have null values. Next, how to fix null issue using coalesce. So here what I'm doing, here I'm creating two columns. So one is same condition. So whatever we discussed here, same condition, that is with column full name. Here I'm giving concat first name space last name. So for this column, we'll get output same as it is. Means like this, same output we'll get. And additionally, we given one more with column, that is full name null. So here what I'm doing, here I'm adding concat, and on top of concat, I'm using coalesce. So in coalesce, what I given, first name column and delimiter is without space, and here lit is space. So, and one more coalesce is given, coalesce last name and lit. So now what will happen, on top of that, I'm selecting only these four columns. If you see the output, so this we already discussed, full name, that is this one, this already we discussed in previous example. Now we'll see how it works, this one. See here we are getting Nitin Kumar. So here what it happens, so first one is coalesce. So coalesce, and inside that we have three functions. So one is first name. So here first name is Nitin. Then we have two lead functions. So one is without space and one more is with space. So coalesce, what it does is it will pick first string value, non-string value. Okay. So first whichever has value that it will pick. So it will pick Nitin. And coalesce call last name. So that is Kumar. And lit we have empty space. So now what will happen? This coalesce. So our last name is this one, Kumar. So Kumar, and we have empty space. So what it will select? It will select whichever has value. So if you compare Kumar and empty space, it will select Kumar. And finally, what output will get? Nitin space Kumar. So why we are getting space here is, if you see here call, so up to here, this is one call. So this is one coalesce up to here. And this is one coalesce. Okay. So for first name, for first coalesce, first name lit is empty string. So first name is this Nitin. If we do apply coalesce on this Nitin and empty string, it will pick Nitin. And in between delimiter is there, that is empty space. So that's why we are getting empty space between first name and last name. And if you see here, we have two empty space. So that means empty space means if you come to here coalesce, in second row, our first name is here, empty space. And this also empty space. So when you have both empty spaces, what will get output? Empty space. And here space and coalesce last name empty space. So here also we have empty space only. So finally our result will be empty space. Next, if you come to this one, so for this first condition, we'll get empty space and space. And for this last name, so here last name is Kumari and empty space. Coalesce what will select? It will select Kumari. So Kumari, before that we have space. Why we have space? So here we have delimiter. Okay, so and so since we have both these two, we'll get Pavan Rao. So here Krishna is there. So in first coalesce, so Krishna, comma, empty space. So it will select Krishna only. And here space is there. And the next coalesce last name. So last name empty is there. So we will get only Krishna. So same thing, it will apply for here also. See, whenever we have null, if you see this scenario, so first condition is coalesce call first name. So call first name is null. So null comma empty string. What you will get? Null. So, and after that we have space and coalesce last name comma empty string. So last name is same, empty space. We will get same. So that's why we're getting this empty space same. So and this is null here. So it will handle like this. See in earlier case, see if you see this case, since we are directly concatenating first name and last name, that means without coalesce. See here, without coalesce here, we are getting null. So whenever we have one null value, one string, we are getting null. But after applying coalesce, we are getting whichever string value is there, that we are getting. So same thing here also. Here we have one null and string value. So without coalesce, we are getting null. But after applying coalesce, we are getting value. So same thing here also. Since we have both null, so here without coalesce, we are getting null. But after applying coalesce, we are getting empty string here. So final conclusion is, so when we need to use concat and when we need to use concat underscore ws. So feature, that means separator. So in concat function, separator is manual. So we need to provide manually. So lit space. So that's why if you see everywhere we given manually lit space, lit space. So everywhere we given. If you are not provided, it uh, don't take separator automatically. So we need to provide manually. But in case of concat underscore ws, it automatically provides the separator. So in concat, it cannot handle nulls. So it will give you written as null. If you have any one of the column has null, it will return null. But in case of concat underscore ws, suppose this scenario, if you have one null and one value, it will ignore null, and it will give you output as content. So that is the difference between concat and concat underscore ws. So that's all about this video.